Is keeping Justin Fields and still drafting Caleb Williams an option for the Chicago Bears? Jeff Saturday thinks they should. Let's talk about that and more right after this. Listen, if you're new to this channel, I am P Kid, co-host of the Windy City Breeze. Most of you all know who I am, but at the end of the day, we appreciate your support. So please like, share, subscribe. We are inching toward 30K. Wouldn't be here without you all. Let's just get into the topic, though. Jeff Saturday today mentioned something that I thought was one of the most outrageous takes of the Chicago Bears situation I've ever heard. And it's not unique in the sense that he's the only one that's saying it, but it's a simple fact that he reiterated it today, or maybe they reposted it today because it definitely was up on their website today. Talking about ESPN and not ESPN, but you get what I'm saying. Well, if I get the platform, forgive me for that one because I'm focused on this particular take. The reality of it is Jeff Saturday definitely said it. And at the end of the day, it's one of those takes where it's like, yo, what in the world is he talking about? Now, in full context, he's saying that the best way for you to sit here and actually try to build something out because he doesn't trust that the Chicago Bears can develop a QB is to at least try to simulate the situation that Patrick Mahomes came from. Patrick Mahomes came from a situation where he had Alex Smith in front of him. And because he had Alex Smith in front of him, Alex Smith, he was able to sit for a year. So in Jeff Saturday's defense, he is trying to come from an aspect of if you do sit there and get this number one overall, you at least have to have someone who allows him the time to develop and develop and gives him time to catch on to the NFL game because it is a different game. Now, I am not totally against that take. That actually makes sense on several levels. And we've seen QBs who, if they had the time to sit and really come into their own, so to speak, it's worked out favorably for him. Patrick Mahomes is a pure example of it. Now, I don't think anyone should be compared to Patrick Mahomes. I think that every so often there's a, as Pat would like to say, these are true generational talents, not just franchise. I like to think if you're a franchise quarterback for a thing, you could be considered generational. That we can argue about that later. But at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes sad. We've seen Lamar Jackson for a minute sad. Lamar Jackson's a two-time MVP. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. We see the run he's on. There is real logic in allowing a QB to sit for a second, get his bearings, get his legs underneath him, at least catch up to the difference in the NFL game, and that is real. However, when it comes to this particular situation, Justin Fields is not that individual to be your bridge type quarterback. Justin Fields is still someone who's trying to make his own name in this league. He is not someone who has years of experience, someone who knows that they may not be a starter or things of that nature. He's really fighting for his opportunity to really be good, and he's still relatively young. It doesn't make sense in that context. And I wouldn't even want Justin to be in that situation. If I'm being honest, and some people have gone back and forth with me in the chat and those within our fan base. I appreciate all of it. Whether we agree or disagree, we're all Bears fans at the end of the day. We just want to see our team be successful. So I appreciate you all for commenting on that aspect. And again, whether you agree with Jeff Saturday or not, put that in the comments. I want to hear from you all on that one. But when it comes down to this, I think that the one thing that you really, if you want to talk about ruining a kid, ruining an opportunity, really messing with someone's mental, you do that to them. I like to look at the Patriots situation as a pure example. The whole Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi thing, I hope that's his name, but Zappi thing, I think really messed with Mac Jones. Mac Jones may not have been a MVP caliber. He may not have been that guy in some people's opinion, but you go from his rookie season and you look at what he had the opportunity to do that rookie season to what they really ultimately ended up doing. And then a lot of other things happened too. They were like a really dysfunctional situation over there. They ruined that kid. And everyone knows it. They ruined that kid. The whole QB battle stuff when it really wasn't. I mean, Mac Jones is a better QB than Zappi. And this may not be the best analogy, but I'm using one where we can sit there and see how this so-called battle has worked out for some people. It just doesn't really do that when you have two young QBs. It doesn't work. And that ultimately creates a rift within the locker room and things of that nature. I don't think that in no way, shape, or form is that something that we should do to Justin Fields. And if the Bears are looking to go get Caleb Williams, we should do it to Caleb Williams. That right there is just not how you sit there and really build morale within your team. Why would you do that? Why would you split that? Why would you split the fan base that way? Like, I understand trying to do the best thing, and I'm only speaking from Jeff Saturday's perspective here. Like, I understand trying to do the best thing and make the most out of a bad situation, but that shows me that you really have like no idea how to, like, out of all the things Jeff Saturday has said, that's the one thing I'm like, that's probably why you're there. Like, I can't disagree with you more. Like, my mom would disagree with you, and she didn't even watch football. She would know that's a very bad idea. Like, that's one of those things that's just eh. But again, that's just where I'm coming from. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. Put them in the chat. I'll be in there with you all. Pat will be in there with you all. You know, we rock with you all 110%. At the end of the day, though, we want the Bears to be good. And we see a pathway for that to happen on both ends. But the one thing we don't want to do, and I'm going to reiterate this, is we don't want to create unnecessary drama if there doesn't need to be one. If you're going to keep Justin, but don't have this back and forth. Maybe we do. I do think that they draft a QB. Don't get me wrong. I do think that whether they keep Justin or not, a QB has to be drafted just as a safety net of sorts. I don't think Tyson Bagent would be that guy, and we've kind of got an opportunity to see why, but I don't think you put that QB competition on that with the number one overall. I think ultimately you go get the best weapons available for your team and build it out that way. Build doing this, I haven't seen it worked out. And if you do have an example of it working out, I don't think that's a sustainable way of building a roster or building a team or trying to create positive pressure within your locker room. I just don't. I just don't. So at the end of the day, while we will have many more weeks of this back and forth, of this whole keep Justin, nope, keep Justin, things of that nature. At the end of the day, I will say this. We just want to be good. It's best that we actually consider what's the most optimal way for us to build this team out and ride with whatever pose is actually going to actually do. If I have to speak personally, and I say this because many people think I don't want that situation from Justin. From I think if we've already done him a huge disservice. We've already done Justin wrong in the sense that we didn't give him the best opportunities as an organization. I can't put that necessarily on polls, but as an organization, a Bears organization, we did not give that kid a fair shot. I do believe that if we move on from him, he is truly a victim of circumstance. I firmly believe that. I do also understand that because of that, that doesn't mean that we should keep him being a victim of circumstance. Well, you do it is the business. You kind of have to do what you have to do, and there's a lot that makes a lot of sense. It sucks for Justin. I hate it for Justin. But I do also have to understand that you have the business side of it. I also have to understand the opportunities are before us and the opportunity to kind of reset things, not necessarily from a monetary standpoint, but with a new OC, a GM who finally got to choose his QB, things of that nature. That typically happens anyway. Well, you now have that really happening for Ryan Poles. So there's so many things and so many angles that actually lean toward this is the route that they go, and you just have to accept it. Is it fair? No. But it would be even worse if we sat there and you drafted this number one kid and you put that pressure on Justin, knowing that you didn't do him well, knowing that you didn't do him right, and at a moment where it seems as if his trade value could be no higher. Like right now, teams really want Justin. Do what's right for him and could put him in a good situation. That's only fair, in my opinion. That's the best thing for him. But I want to hear your thoughts. Whether it's love, whether it's hate, put it in the chat. I want to hear how you feel about that take. Again, you hear where I'm coming from. You see what I think. Ultimately, I don't make those decisions. This is all speculation. None of us really do. But that just keeping Justin and Caleb, talk about him. Jesus. The fact that he actually said that though makes sense. Now that I hear Jeff say, in him trying to break it down to justify it, it brings into it for me, it clears up so much about some of the things I've heard about Jeff that I'm like, I got you. We got him. I got you, buddy. But again, whether it's up, whether it's say put in the chat, I'll be in there with you. Till next time, folks. Peace.